Welcome to another chilling episode of the Real Unsolved Crimes podcast. Tonight, we delve into a case that has haunted Los Angeles for decades, the disappearance of Jean Spangler, vanishing in 1950s Hollywood. Jean Spangler, a young and beautiful actress with a promising future, vanished without a trace in October of 1949. But her disappearance isn't just a mystery, it's a puzzle wrapped in secrets, intrigue, and a series of bizarre circumstances that would lead investigators down a dark and winding path. Did she simply disappear, or was she the victim of something much more sinister? Tonight, we'll follow the twists and turns of Jean Spangler's case and uncover the unsolved truths that have been hidden for over 70 years. Join me as we piece together the mystery of Jean Spangler's vanishing and explore the strange clues that have kept this case alive in the public's imagination. Jean Spangler was a 26-year-old aspiring actress with a life full of promise. Born in Seattle, Washington, in 1923, she moved to California as a young woman to chase her dream of becoming a star. Though she had appeared in a few small movie roles and bit parts, Jean's career had yet to take off, but she remained optimistic about her future in Hollywood. She was described as strikingly beautiful, with dark hair, sparkling eyes, and a vivacious personality. Jean worked as a dancer and a model, earning a modest living while pursuing her acting career. She was also a single mother to a young daughter, Christine, whom she loved deeply. But in October of 1949, just when it seemed like Jean was on the verge of something bigger, her life would take an unexpected and eerie turn. On the evening of October 7, 1949, Jean went out to meet a friend, but she never returned home. That night, Jean was last seen leaving her apartment in the Beverly Hills area. She told a friend she was meeting her ex-husband, who lived in Hollywood, to discuss something regarding their daughter. She had promised to return later that evening. But Jean never made it back, and her disappearance would remain a mystery for years to come. A few days after Jean vanished, something strange happened. On October 9, 1949, 2 days after she disappeared, Jean's purse was found in Hancock Park, a neighborhood near Hollywood. But the purse wasn't found alone. Inside it were a few personal items, her ID, some cash, and a note. The note was what drew the most attention. It was written in Jean's handwriting, but the message was puzzling. "I am going to see Dr. Scott." The note had no further explanation, and there was no mention of who Dr. Scott was. It was an unusual detail, especially given that Jean had never spoken of a Dr. Scott before. The authorities immediately began to wonder, who was this mysterious person, and what did he have to do with Jean's disappearance? In addition to the discovery of her purse, there were reports that Jean's daughter Christine was left behind at her apartment, seemingly abandoned without any explanation. Jean's family was left to wonder, did she simply leave voluntarily, or was there something more sinister at play? When the investigation into Jean's disappearance began, it quickly became clear that there was far more to the story than initially suspected. The authorities soon learned that Jean had been seeing a man who was connected to a high-profile Hollywood scandal. Her lover, a man named Arnold Dutch Lindy, was a known gangster with ties to the criminal underworld. He was allegedly involved in organized crime, and rumors swirled that his connections might have something to do with Jean's sudden disappearance. The police uncovered that Jean had been trying to break away from her troubled relationship with Lindy, but they were not able to verify whether she had broken up with him prior to her disappearance. It was also discovered that Jean had been seeking financial support from her ex-husband and possibly even from Lindy, suggesting she might have been in a vulnerable position. Was Jean's disappearance tied to a violent lover's quarrel, or had she gotten involved in something much darker than anyone had ever imagined? As the investigation continued, more strange and mysterious clues began to emerge. The authorities discovered that Jean had a close connection with a mysterious figure named Dr. Scott, the name mentioned in the note found in her purse. But who was this man? Why had she gone to see him? Dr. Scott, a doctor of unknown origins, was reportedly involved in Hollywood's underground scene, mixing with people from all walks of life, from celebrities to criminals. However, the police could never track him down. no records of a Dr. Scott were ever found in the area, adding another layer of confusion to the case. As the weeks turned into months, the investigation into Jean's disappearance unraveled, with no concrete evidence of what had happened to her. Authorities were unable to identify any witnesses who had seen her after the night she vanished, and no lead seemed to bring them any closer to understanding her fate. As years went by, several theories began to surface surrounding Jean Spangler's disappearance. Some believed that she had simply run away, leaving behind a life that was no longer satisfying. But others pointed to the dark underbelly of Hollywood, where the allure of fame and fortune often comes at a high price. Was Jean's disappearance the result of her involvement with gangster Arnold Lindy? Could she have become a victim of the Hollywood underworld she was too close to? Or was Dr. Scott, a mysterious figure tied to the case, more involved than anyone realized? A more chilling theory proposed that Jean was the victim of a high-profile crime, one that was carefully covered up by those with the power to do so. Had she been silenced to protect the secrets of those she knew? Despite the efforts of law enforcement and the public's continued interest in her case, Jean Spangler's disappearance remains unsolved to this day. Her story is one of Hollywood's most enduring mysteries, a tale of a woman who seemed to have it all, but vanished without a trace. Her disappearance, and the eerie circumstances surrounding it, still captivate those who seek answers. In the end, the question remains, what really happened to Jean Spangler? As we close this haunting chapter, we are reminded of how the bright lights of Hollywood can often conceal dark secrets, secrets that sometimes vanish without a trace, leaving behind only unanswered questions. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Real Unsolved Crimes. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more mysterious cases like Jean Spangler's, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Until next time, remember, sometimes the truth hides in the shadows. Keep searching.